Hello, welcome to MIKO Microlearning. This is John Miko, and this is the 10th video in our dynamic array series. This one focusing on approximate match lookups using XLOOKUP. So this is the second video that I'm recording on XLOOKUP. Video 9 talked about exact matches. So in this video, we will look at how XLOOKUP handles approximate matches and different match codes, -1 and +1. And then we'll do this with tables as well. We'll do an XLOOKUP within table. So as a reminder, I'm recording all kinds of videos on dynamic arrays, and these are the ones that I've covered already. XLOOKUP, we're going to have 3 videos. The third one that I'll record next will be on using multiple values to look up values. So look for that soon. So let's dive into it. So first off, I have a table of employees here, and I think we started this in the previous video. And we already looked up vacation days and personal days, and those were exact matches based on categories, and we used XLOOKUP for that. What I'd like to do now is figure out withholding rate, okay? And withholding rate is going to be based on the annual compensation of the employee. So we're going to use the C column as our lookup, and the rates we're going to use the first time is we're going to use these as top end cut points. So we are going to say if it's anywhere less than 50,000, it's going to default to 5%. If it's anywhere between 75,000 and 50,000, it's going to drop down to 10%. That is match mode -1. We're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to kind of round up or go up. We're going to use it as a bottom end cut point. So let's do this. And we're also going to do this as an array, so which is kind of cool. So if we go to the first row, and we're going to do an XLOOKUP here, okay, and we're going to look up the value of C11, okay. C11 is where the annual compensation is, but I'm going to do this all at once. So I'm going to say C11 through C24, right? I'm going to give it the whole range, and I'm going to return an array. The lookup array I want to use in this case is this income range, which is over here in J17 through J21. The return array I want to use is this withhold rate. I'm not going to do anything for not found, so I'm going to use a comma, and I'm going to say I'm not going to enter if not found, so I'm going to use a comma again, and now I'm at this match mode. I want -1 because I want the exact match or next smaller item, so I'm going to select that -1. End parenthesis, I hit enter, and notice that's exactly what this does. So the first one is 49,000, which isn't quite 50,000, so it gets to here and it defaults backwards to 5%. The next one is 85,000, so 85,000 is over the 75,000 range. It drops back to 15%. If we look at any of these, so we see one that's 110,000, it goes here and it drops back to the 20%. Now, and also, notice when I did the XLOOKUP, I entered in C11 through C24, not just one value and then copy it down. I realized this is only returning one value, so why not make it an array? So make one formula do all that work. Instead of just entering C11, I did a range, and this returns a dynamic array, which is kind of cool. I'm going to do the same function here, but this time I'm going to treat those values as bottom end cut points, not top end cut points. So it's really going to be the same formula. I'm going to say equal XLOOKUP here, and once again, I'm going to give it C11 through C24. And once again, I'm going to look up J17 through J21. I'm going to return the same withholding rate. I'm not going to give it the not found, but this time I'm going to use them as bottom end cut points. So it's going to give me different values, right? So for example, now the 49,000, instead of returning 5%, returns 10%. Why? Well, because 49,000 is here, so it defaults to the next higher one, right? Instead of the +1 goes up, the -1 goes down. So think about it almost as like a rounding kind of exercise, okay? So that is the introduction. Let's go to the use case, okay? So the use case over here, I have a bunch of orders, and we give different prices per unit based on how many were ordered. So the quantity is over here in column B, And we have a table up here, and we want to say like anywhere from 1 to 499, they pay $10 per unit. Anywhere from 500 to 999, they pay $9.80 per unit. So that means I'm going to enter into unit price, and I'm going to do an approximate match, and I'm going to do a -1. I'm going to default backwards. And this is already a table. So if I look at this, this is a table. It's called, let's go up here, it's called pricing table. Okay, so that's what I'm going to utilize in this case. So, and once again, lookups work great when the table is a table in Excel terms. So I'm going to do XLOOKUP here, and once again, I'm going to give it the whole thing. I'm going to say B11 through B30, right? That's the end, the whole way down to the end. The lookup array, I'm going to say is in my pricing table, okay? I want to look up the quantity, right? Comma. If the return array I want to return in this case is in the pricing table, I should have something called price per unit. I do, and I'm going to close that. I'm going to not use a not found, and I'm going to do exact match next smaller item, the -1. I hit enter, and let's make sure that it worked correctly. The first one was 2,500 items. So 2,500 items, not quite getting that 5,000 mark, so it defaults back to 920. This one, they must have ordered a lot because they're at 880, so they must have been over the 10,000 threshold, and they were. So that's very nice. So now I have unit price. I'd also like to get the order total, so that would be unit price times quantity. And I'm going to enter this a standard function, but it's really going to create a dynamic array because of the way I'm going to enter it. I'm going to say equal, and I'm going to take that unit price, E11, through E30. Okay, so I'm going to take the quantity, B11 through B30, and then I'm going to multiply it by E11 hashtag. So it'll go down. So E11 hashtag. And remember, when we reference a dynamic array, we can start at the beginning, give the hashtag. So this is going to take B11 times E11, and then B12 times E12 respectively. Exactly what we want to do. And I could have done it the standard way, but we're in dynamic array, so I want to show you that. Hit enter, and it looks like our math checks out. 1088 times boom, that all looks good. I want to keep this video under a few minutes, so I'm not going to do this in the video, but I'd like you to find the shipping tier the same way we found unit price, but this time I want you to go up. So I want you to round up. So as soon as they hit 500 or 501, they're going to get priority. So I want you to use the 1 code. The directions are up here. The solution is here. This file that we're looking at can be found in the first comment of the YouTube video. Once again, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, repost to your friends. Thank you so much for following along, and we'll see you real soon for the third XLOOKUP, where we'll cover using multiple lookup values, combinations. Pretty cool stuff. Take care. Goodbye.